It's Star Wars Podcast Day, brought to you by Barry White, because I've got a little bit of a cold. But hey, we're so excited you're here with us today on the show. We are talking about our top 5 Star Wars characters. Wah, wah. Look out, everybody. There may be a debate happening here today on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Hello there. So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I muted my microphone because I was coughing.
Oh,
Welcome to the show, everybody. Good morning. I am Stephen Boss, your co-host, along with the one, the only, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land.
Hey, so tell us the story of Star Wars Podcast Day, because we have an interesting history with Star Wars Podcast Day.
So, yeah, this is the fifth annual Star Wars Podcast Day. We actually have done every single Star Wars Podcast Day since we began. We began in 2021, and that's when Star Wars Podcast Day began. So this is the fifth one, and we're going into our fourth year. So this would be our fifth Star Wars Podcast Day. To give some other facts about Star Wars Podcast Day, Star Wars Podcast Day is celebrating the first broadcast of a Star Wars podcast, and I'm trying to find that fact here.
Oh,
because he gave it to me.
He gave it
to me, and he's like, "Make sure you read this fact." But it began. Oh, here we go. It began on February 7th, 1999, and it was called Jedi Talk. Was the very first Star Wars podcast. So we kind of celebrate not just Jedi Talk. We're celebrating Star Wars podcasting as a whole.
Yeah.
Over the years. So yeah, been going on since 1999. Star Wars podcasting. That's pretty freaking incrable if you think about it.
That's crazy. That's 25 years.
Yeah. Wow. So 1999. That is right around the release of Phantom Menace, wasn't it? I believe Phantom Menace was released.
Oh yeah.
So in 99, I don't think I was even thinking about podcasts yet. I didn't have anything to play a podcast on. I can tell you that in 99, other than a computer. And I remember starting out downloading my podcasts and then transferring them over to my iPods, because when I first got an iPod, the podcast I listened to the most, my favorite Star Wars podcast, Rebel Force Radio. Back then, it wouldn't have been Rebel Force Radio; it would have been the Force Cast. They've split away from the Force Cast and created Rebel Force Radio, and then Daily Audio Bible. Both podcasts I am still listening to this day. So nice.
That's pretty crazy.
What's that, Megan?
May 19th, 1999.
I was right. 99. So yeah, I'll bet you anything. Jedi Talk probably premiered to probably talk about the opening of Star Wars Phantom Menace, most likely. I've never heard Jedi Talk. I don't know what it was like, but
that's okay.
But that's what we're here.
Not like you don't have like umpteen million podcasts that you listen to already.
This is true.
That's funny.
I have a few that I put higher up on the list than others, but yeah. I do have a lot to keep track of. So, but yeah, Star Wars Podcasting Day. So, it was actually yesterday, but he is gracious enough to allow us a week's time to get our celebrated episode in. So we decided to opt on our regular recording schedule. Yeah, actually do it on our
Yeah.
Saturday. So
Well, it's not like there was a whole bunch of, there's a whole bunch of other podcasts that were participating in Star Wars Podcast Day.
this is
The
true.
nice thing is in the list, everybody, they do numbers and then letters, alphabetical order. Guess who's near the top every single time?
Yeah.
Guys.
That was a happy accident, I should say.
Right?
I never really thought about that when I came up with the name Two Geeks and a Microphone. I just wanted to come up with something unique, and I used the number instead of the letters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes it works out in our advantage. Sometimes we
Agree.
put our name on top, so
Right.
that's a good thing, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Everybody, I'm pretty excited about our topic today. We have saved it for the podcast. We have not talked at all. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But by golly, we are talking about our top 5 favorite Star Wars characters. I want to say real quick, Corey's in the house with Willie's
Hey, Corey.
Willie's Movies and Music. Corey, good to have you with us and all. He's got a great show. They just did. I saved it to my list because I didn't get a chance to watch it. He did a big super horror special with a whole bunch of other podcasters the other night. Then it was Thursday and stuff. So I saved it to my list to watch and all. Those are usually really good. I got some good ideas. He did it several months ago and I got some good ideas and some great recommendations of movies. And so I watched them and they were good. It was You're Next and You're Next. That was an interesting one. And then I didn't like how it started, but then it really picked up and was really good. Gosh, what was the other one? I can't think of the other one all of a sudden. Top of my head. Anyway.
Well, Corey, if you know what it is, tell us.
He may not remember.
Stephen can remember. Or Stephen can mention.
They talked about a whole bunch of different movies.
Gotcha.
And all. So I was like, oh, I'll pick 2 of them. And so Kelly and I watched them, and Kelly liked them. She's like, those weren't too bad. So
Cool.
it was
Nice.
pretty good. All right.
Wait a minute, Kelly will watch horror movies with you?
Yeah.
Wow. My
Yeah.
wife won't. Brenda refuses. All she'll do is go, nope, 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 nope.
Right. No, I don't think she'll watch Hellraiser or something with me.
Sounds
She
like
won't watch.
The seagulls from Finding Nemo, but instead of mine, it's nope.
Gotcha.
That's funny. All right. Well, with that, you want to go ahead and go into, I don't have geeky news. My geeky news was not what I thought it was. So I was kind of bummed out. I didn't confirm.
Oh, okay. Well, real quick, I do want to thank Jacob Ruxer. I got to make sure I get his name right because his name is pronounced differently than it's spelled. So it's Ruxer.
Oh,
And,
okay.
I had Jacob last night on for a special episode. I'm trying to bring up his comic book name because I can't remember it now. I'm bad. I'm so bad. Anyway, he is a comic creator, and I'm slowly getting to his comic book. Where is it at? It's in here. It is Cosa Nostra's Comrade is the name of his comic book.
Right.
It's a Russian spy who gets involved with the Italian mob. Quite the interesting little dynamic there. So, but check out that episode with him last night that we had last night on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
And it will be on Rumble later today. I'll get it uploaded. What are we doing here?
I'm trying to get to his. Here it is.
Oh, okay. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh, and he is actually a part of Jeffrey Cotton's group.
Oh, okay.
Kind of helped him with his comic book, helped him get started, and so he and Joffrey are kind of teamed up together.
Nice. That's the connection. That's cool.
Yeah.
And for those who may not know, we've had Jeffrey on Creators Corner too.
Yes. Sometime last year, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about having him back here soon. So I think he's got a new book coming out soon, which probably means a new Kickstarter coming up. So once we get more details, we'll we'll discuss that. And I did invite Jacob back, and this will kind of tie into my Geekdar. So if you want to go into Geekdar.
Oh, let's do it.
Control with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
So it's not playing for me. Right?
Okay.
Brenda's watching it live in the living room, so I can hear it on our TV. So anyway, all right. So like I said, this kind of ties into part of my Geekdar. So my Geekdar this week, I finally started to sit down and watch The Penguin. Wow. I don't want to say too much because I want to have an episode, and I did ask Jacob if he'd be interested in coming back and join us to geek out over The Penguin, because
Nice.
it's kind of a gangster movie or gangster television series, so kind of fits in with his genre that he likes. So I thought that would be fun. All I'm going to say is, if you haven't watched The Penguin, watch The Penguin.
I have not watched it. I will watch it.
Watch it.
Okay.
That I'm not going to say too much more because I will save that for the podcast.
Okay.
For that episode that we do on it. But
I think I have to renew my Max subscription because I got 3 months for $5 a month, and then went ahead and canceled it. And so I'm kind of seeing if they send me another. Hey, come back. We'll give you a good deal again.
Okay. Well, let me know when you get that, and then. Yeah, I think 3 more episodes to watch. I think it's like 8 episodes, something like that. Not a very.
I'm just saying it's good.
Yeah. Brenda's watching it with me too. So, Colin Farrell is just fantastic as the Penguin. It's still mind blowing that that's who the Penguin is. You know, God, he does a good job. Holy cow! Wow. Honestly,
it's a gangster style film. It really is a gangster movie or gangster series is really what it is. Kind of like Goodfellas or Casino or stuff in that vein. Godfather kind of stuff.
Which I got a hard time from Jacob last night because I've never actually watched The Godfather or Goodfellas.
That's good. I've never seen it either.
Oh, good. He was like, I think we need to sit down and I think we need to have an episode on The Godfather.
Okay.
Okay. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that one.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that one, but I don't know if it'd fit in your genre. I'm like, our genre is anything we want. So,
right. What about HBO? What did HBO have? What series did they have that was a whole mobster thing? The Sopranos.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get into The Sopranos.
I didn't either.
Now,
if it's a spy movie or spy series, I'm down for it. Mobsters, I'm like, I don't know.
See, I like some mobster stuff, and I'm loving the Penguin. The Penguin is just
okay.
Great. So, anyway, I don't want to say too much about the Penguin because I want to save that for when we do an episode on it. And I really
saving it for the podcast. That's what you hear, everybody, right here and now.
All right. Okay. So I have a second Geekdar. Then I have been continuing Batman Resurrection in preparation for our guest John Jackson Miller, which I can't wait to have on. Mm-hmm. I am. How far am I? Let me look at my Goodreads app, and I will give you an exact percentage of how far I am in the book. I am 66% done with the book. So,
wow,
really, really, really enjoying this book. And I'm
hoping to start the audiobook today.
Okay. I got a feeling I'm going to have this done, read. So if you are a fan of Batman 89, I highly, highly recommend this book. Okay. It is so good. I mean, he brings in characters from both Batman 89, Batman Returns. He answers some unanswered questions from the original film.
So did Batman really kill people in the? Sorry.
There's kind of and he kind of alludes to some of that in here too. So
Right on.
get over it, Steven.
For those that don't know, Mike and I have continuing arguments on if Batman actually killed people in the '89 Batman films.
Since 1989.
Right. So, because technically, for those who are big Batman fans, he has a code, and he will not kill. And all, and it's that inner turmoil of should he or should he not that continues through many of the books. Because if he just would step over that line, things would be much more easier for him, much more better for him. But then, really, would they? So, anyway, that's what we're referencing, and we debate that and have a good talk about that from time to time. So,
there is one death that is talked about in here that actually wasn't a death. So, according to John Jackson Miller, anyway. So,
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I thought was, in fact, I thought of you when I read it.
Okay.
I was like, that's Steven. So
I look forward. All right. Well, for my Geekdar, I am watching. I started watching season 3 of Invincible.
Oh, I haven't started 3 yet.
It just started this week, just like 2 days ago, and since I wasn't feeling good, I just laid in bed and I just watched the first 3 episodes.
Did you watch the special? Because there's a special episode.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, there's
No.
something.
It's
that's
Adam Eve story.
Focusing on Adam Eve.
Yeah. So, no, I have not watched that actually. I plan to, but so because I'm just really digging this whole universe and stuff like that, and so there's some stuff that when we had, the other day when we had Tom Hutchinson with Big Dog Inc. When we had him on, he referenced a couple of things, and so they do pop up here at the beginning of these first 3 episodes. So I was pretty excited to see that. So
nice.
It's really good. You get some of some backstory of one of the characters, and you're like, interesting. And so it's really setting up kind of what's happening within this series. And then episode 3 ends at the very end with a real glimpse of wah wah. Is a character returning kind of a thing? Something. It's wild.
Cool.
And so it's pretty good. It's a nice teaser for watching the others. Now it's only 1 a week. So you got the first 3 that dropped, and now it's only 1 a week for the next several weeks. So next month and a half. So I think there's 8 episodes. So anyway, so that is my Geek Star. That's what I only had time to do is that one. So
nice. Now that's a big one there. I'm really enjoying Invincible. Seasons 1 and 2 I thought were fantastic. I like the books. I'm on book 3 of the collected volumes right now. So, and it looks like book 6 was just released. So I haven't got book 6 yet, but I have volumes 1 through 5 so far. So
you said volumes 1 through 5?
Yeah. Not like the drug volume.
Right. That's funny. So I do think season 2 was better than 1. It just continued, and then I think 3 is off to a good start.
Yeah, see, that's book 3 right there. Book 3, volume 3. However you want to say it. I don't know. Anyway.
Right on. Oh, everybody, real quick. Sam says hi. Hello, everyone. Hello, Sam.
Hey, Sam. Cheers from down under. Cool.
Right on.
All right. We ready to jump into our main event?
Let's do this. Here we go. It's time for the main event. I don't know if that worked real well. So
I can still hear it in the living room. It's so weird.
Okay.
Anyway,
So how would you go about this? Go with I ranked them. So I said 5-1. Or one being my
Okay,
favorite.
I have them ranked too. Okay, you want to start with number 5?
I will.
All right. I want to make a statement first. This is not like my definitive top 5. Okay.
Right.
Years ago on Rebel Force Radio, Jimmy Mack was asked who his favorite Star Wars character is. And I loved the response that Jimmy Mack gave.
Oh, what'd you say?
He said, "My favorite Star Wars character is a different character every day. I pick a new one every single day." And then he would randomly have people ask him, "So what's your favorite Star Wars character today?" And I always loved some of his responses because he would give the most random characters. I remember one time asking him the question, and he responded back to me and said, "It's the Jawa that lovingly strokes the Luke's land speeder at Anchorhead in Tatooine." I was like, "Oh,
Oh
that's
my goodness.
funny! It is so funny." So I like that idea that you don't really have a definitive favorite, but there are ones that really, really stand out in my mind. So
Okay.
these are not the definitive, but they are some of my tops. And I do have a list of 5, and then I do have 4 honorable mentions.
Nice. I didn't do any honorable mentions, but I like your thought process behind that. I like that, because loving that world so much, kind of a thing. And
Well, it's so hard to pick from the entire saga. When
right,
you're talking what 9 film, well, technically what
6 films.
well, all right, yeah. But you're talking all the films, you're talking about the cartoon series. Now you're throwing TV series into the mix, and then you got old school Star Wars books, and then new school Star Wars books. It's like,
Right.
holy crap, where do I go? It's really tough. So I've narrowed this down.
Excuse me.
I will. I want to clarify. Also, I did get Gemini to help me with this a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I went into Gemini. I'm like, hey, I need help coming up with a top 5 list of my favorite Star Wars characters. Here are some of my favorite movies, some of my favorite Star Wars movies, and why. And with that, it helped me. She helped me get the list. So, all right. So we will start with number 5. You want to go first, Steven?
Number 5.
We should have had a graphic for that.
We should have. We should have done that. We didn't think I had that much. That's all right. So my number 5 is let me go to my little screen share here. Steven share. The Mandalorian is my number 5. And now
I got a statue of him right there in the corner.
I know you do. It's great.
I didn't buy it though.
Right? What a great gift. Yeah. So I love The Mandalorian, and primarily because I have an affinity for Wild Wild West. When I was a kid, my dad would use old movies to teach me life lessons from time to time. And excuse me. And so the Mandalorian reminds me of kind of a mashup of the Wild West, old samurai movies, kind of a thing, all put into one. And the reason I say the samurai movies is just because of some of the stylistic choices, especially the ones that included Ahsoka. There were some really cool Wild West samurai, showdown kind of looking scenes and stuff. I like The Mandalorian because it is a lone gunman kind of framework, kind of story. And I love it that he's got the Beskar armor. It is kind of the whole, if it's the Boba Fett that I wanted, but I never really got when it came out, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I really enjoy The Mandalorian. That's, Grogu stuff is okay, but it's just, but I think just The Mandalorian, the Wild Wild West, the bounty hunter kind of a thing, I just really enjoyed. So that's my number 5 is good old Mr. Mando.
You threw me off. I didn't know we were going to do pictures, so I had to get something real quick. So,
Oh,
all right.
sorry.
So I'm ready.
Okay. All right. And let's
My
see.
number 5. Whoops. I don't know what just happened here, but anyway. I don't know what's going on, Steven.
It's showing. What's the...
All right. I don't know what the white bar is. Oh, that's just my... Sorry, that's my... Anyway, so my number 5 will be Darth Maul. Darth Maul, I was intrigued with him with the Phantom Menace. I thought he was an incredible character. I felt he was ripped off. Honestly, I think Darth Maul should have went all the way through the prequel trilogy, and then in episode 3, he and Anakin should have had to battle for the place of the Emperor's apprentice. I think it would have been a much more better story.
Cheers. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't enjoy the prequels. I am not a prequel hater. I actually do enjoy the prequels very much. I just think Darth Maul got a little ripped off. I do find the story behind him getting killed funny, because George Lucas notoriously said, we're gonna cut this guy in half because they're not bringing him back. And then years and years down the line, George goes to Dave Filoni. Hey Dave, do you think we could bring Darth Maul back? And Dave is like, I can't do Dave Filoni's voice, but Dave's like, yeah, George, we can do that. We can bring him back.
Nice.
So we got Darth Maul back. So yeah, I absolutely love Darth Maul. I think he's visually striking. He's one of the most visually interesting characters in the entire saga, in my opinion. And I love that. I cannot think of the actor's name that plays him. Yeah, Tito, help me out here.
Are you talking about Ray Park?
Yes, Ray Park. Thank you, Ray Park. I love that Ray Park had brought a martial arts aspect to the lightsaber dueling. So he just brought it to a whole new level and made it that more interesting. So Darth Maul is my number 5.
Nice. Okay. Very cool. All right. So drum roll, everybody. Here is Steven's second favorite. Oh, that's not what I want. Ta-da!
Nice.
Yo Yoda. Now, a couple of things I want to say about Yoda. One is I like him because he's like that mentor, character that a lot of stories have that have a hero's journey. They have that person who's the wise mentor kind of a thing. We saw him in Empire Strikes Back, which I know is your favorite. I thought he played that really well. And what's interesting is there's also the aspect of he is the, do people say he's the most powerful Jedi kind of a thing? Now I'm not going to do the Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader kind of thing here. I'm taking that out. But just out of the Jedis, was he the most powerful? It made me wonder, after a Jedi would achieve a certain status, how calm and stuff would they be? And I always enjoyed in the second movie, the number 2 and Attack of the Clones, where he comes across Dooku, and I'm like, oh, we get to see him fight. This is going to be great. That was my whole thing. See Yoda. And then seeing how he used the Force, he was no longer a slow moving character, but he was like wickedly fast. Kind of a thing. It's kind of like because then he picked up, once it was done, he picked up his cane and started walking slow again. And it reminded me of the movie.
Over and
yeah, right. right? I was like, why does he do that? But it's kind
It's
of
a
like,
great scene. It is a great scene.
yeah. For those who have seen the movie The Prestige, it's with I think it's Christopher Nolan. It's with Michael Caine, Batman was in it. Christian Bale. Was it Christian Bale? Yes, it was Christian Bale with Wolverine, Hugh Jackman were in it. And there was a concept in the film. It was about magicians and the life of magicians and the tricks and the how they tried to all one up each other, kind of a thing. But there was a concept in there that you being totally devoted to your craft. But it was in the aspect of sometimes you had to how you did illusions. Now I don't want to spoil anything. I'm trying not to spoil the movie. I'm stumbling over my words here a little, but that's what reminded me of when Yoda was like, you think he's timid and stuff like that, but then lo and behold, it's kind of like when Order 66 happened. When Yoda all of a sudden, the two stormtroopers started coming, the clone troopers started coming up behind him, and he knew that they were there, and like at lightning fast speed just dispatched both of them, kind of a thing. So that's my Yoda. I really like Yoda. Some of my favorite Yoda stories are actually in the Clone Wars, the storyline where it's the Wills. He meets the Journal of the Wills, kind of a thing, and I thought that was kind of interesting. And then seeing that's the one that introduced where you actually got Darth Bane, right?
Yes.
Which one was it?
No, wait.
Yeah. Or Revan. Was it Revan?
In the Wills? In the story of the...
Well,
I'm lost.
yeah, it was that last 3 episodes. Of,
Megan said I'm lost.
right. Penguin fell off. Yeah. But anyway, so anyway, there was yeah. So anyway, Yoda is my thing, and just I love the whole Jedi mythos openly. That's one of the things that I think sets apart Star Wars from any other sci-fi.
See, and this is why a top 5 of my favorite all-time Star Wars characters is tough, because yeah, I wanted to put Yoda on this list too. And some days Yoda might fall on this list because I really, really love the Yoda character. But today he didn't fall on the list. So,
aha, okay.
Today he.
All right.
Ready for
Are
mine?
you ready for? Yes. Here we go.
All right. Number 4. Boba Fett.
He is lower on the list than I thought.
The man, the myth, the legend, Boba Fett. I have been intrigued. This is another one. It's visually striking. I love The Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is my absolute favorite Star Wars movie. So a lot of my characters fall through The Empire Strikes Back. And and for those who've been around and listened to the podcast a long time, you might know I actually did not get to see Empire in the theaters as a kid. I missed it. And so I read everything I could. I listened to, back then we didn't have, streaming television and the ways that we can consume media. So back then you had to consume it by comic books. I had comic books. I had storybooks. I had, the Viewmaster views. These were all ways of reliving the film after it happened.
Yeah.
It's also why us Gen Xers have memories from the films that actually did not happen in the films, because we're remembering some of those scenes that were put into storybooks, comic books, so on and so forth, magazines and stuff like that. And we swear to Yoda that we've seen these and they don't exist.
Right.
But anyway, I digress. Yes, I was intrigued by Boba Fett from the moment that character was released. He has been a thing of my imagination since I was a little kid. I actually have how many action figures did I say last night? I have
23.
At least I have at least 17 Boba Fett action figures.
Wow.
At least 17 Boba Fett action figures. So now some of those are repeats because some of them are just vintage Kenner action figures that I've acquired a couple times over. But yeah, he goes up in one of my top collectibles too. So
nice.
Boba Fett.
All right, so Boba Fett, nice. I thought he would have been higher on your list, to be open with you.
Well, again, it's hard,
Right?
and this is not a hard numbering either. I'm not I'm not saying this is the definitive number either. So
right. All right, everybody, that was number 4. Now we're moving into the realm of number 3. So my number 3 is Ahsoka.
nice.
I love the character Ahsoka. Now, like many others, especially Mike, I did not like Ahsoka in the beginning. But as Ahsoka knew, and especially as Ahsoka got reintroduced in The Mandalorian, I really, really enjoyed Ahsoka. So I would say just her character arc. I enjoyed the series, the new Disney Plus series. I enjoyed it overall. And so I liked how it was bringing back the heir to the Empire story a little bit, trying to, at least introduce Grand Admiral Thrawn and all, which was okay. I do think it was a little drawn out, and I wanted to see more, but I liked just how it brought back Rebels. You've got Ahsoka from Clone Wars, then in Rebels, and I really liked her introduction, how she was in Rebels, but I really enjoyed the live action Ahsoka as well. So I do enjoy that. And my favorite line is, "I am no Jedi."
Nice. Oh, see, I love Ahsoka too. And like you, in the beginning, I was not a big fan of her, and I think most Star Wars fans weren't. We all just looked at her. Oh, she's an annoying preteen kid. This is a bad character for Star Wars. And through the Clone Wars, I think we all came to love her. Or most of us did anyway. And she has become a very, very popular character within the Star Wars universe. I was thrilled to see her move to live action. I thought Rosaria Dawson did a very good job. I still prefer Ashley's voice performances.
Oh, okay, sure. Mm-hmm.
But both of them, let's face it, they both create the character, and she is a force to be reckoned with.
Yes. Yep. All right. Are you ready for your number 3?
Yep. My number 3. Hello there.
Right?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now I have to say, my favorite films, of course, are always going to be the original films. And as a kid, Obi-Wan, I always looked at him as, he was the nice old mentor,
Mm-hmm.
And there's a fondness for him, but he was never a favorite character. It wasn't until the prequels come along.
Yes.
And I see Obi-Wan as the young man, the warrior, the one who's teaching Anakin to become a warrior. That's the Obi-Wan that I love, and he became a favorite of mine because of the prequels and the Clone Wars. I have to credit the Clone Wars with that too, because there's some incredible stories throughout the Clone Wars with Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I cannot have a list without Obi-Wan Kenobi on it.
Right.
Obi-Wan. Yep. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan was my number 1.
You already gave it away.
I know, but I mean, you're already talking about Obi-Wan, so I got to talk about him and stuff like that. So we didn't discuss how we do ones that we would carry over. So Yeah, Obi-Wan is by far my favorite character. Because it's the noble knight. It's the one who tries to do right, and still things happen, and still trying to make those hard decisions that need to be made, and then still trying to see them through, and still struggling with his own inner turmoil about some of those decisions. Plus, I mean, you are correct. I 100% agree. That's my same story with he was the wise mentor who didn't last very long, but
Right.
kind of a thing like what? But
Well,
when
we got little bits and pieces of him throughout the
right, you must go to Dagobah,
right.
and then it comes, well, a certain point of
From
view,
a
and
certain
I'm like,
point of view.
I was like, what? Come on, kind of a thing. But it was about perspective, and I thought that was a neat lesson.
Ben's an asshole.
Right. Right. But I enjoyed, I really enjoyed the prequels with Obi-Wan Kenobi, seeing him go from Padawan
Yes.
to Jedi Knight to Jedi Master.
Yeah,
kind of
I
a
love
thing.
his growth. His growth is just incredible throughout
Right.
the prequels. I mean, I know everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people crap on the prequels, but if nothing else, that's something you should at least appreciate, is the fact that we get Ewan McGregor playing this incredible version of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and just seeing that incredible growth in him over the years.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
yeah, it's fantastic. So
Yes. I know some people didn't really like the Disney Plus show. I enjoyed it. In fact, just last week, I rewatched the Obi-Wan Vader fight sequence.
nice.
And I may do a mashup of that where I may do some screen recording and just do the section of just their fighting, because it gets interrupted, kind of a thing. I was like, I don't want to see all the rest of this stuff. I just want to see them go toe to toe.
Steven Skip.
Steven Skip. That's really what it was. Yeah, it was like Steven Skip. And I really enjoyed it. And in that fight was the great moment of Obi-Wan getting over his failure with Anakin. It was he felt responsible. I mean, you see that at the end. And Revenge of the Sith is my favorite movie. And my favorite fight sequence is the ending fight sequence with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, and then Anakin becoming Darth Vader.
Don't try it, Anakin. I have the high ground.
High ground.
High ground.
Right?
I had to say it.
You had to say it. I love it. I'm so glad you did. So with that, just what did he say? I have failed you, Anakin. And kind of a thing. He had that responsibility, and how he viewed that relationship wasn't just mentor-mentee relationship, the master Padawan kind of a thing. It really was a friendship bond. It was a brotherhood. And I love that perspective of how Obi-Wan was that leader. It was a brother in arms, and how can I help this brother in arms, and how they saved each other, kind of a thing. And those stories of, I want to hear those stories that, just them coming together. And then coming into the Disney Plus series, it was that moment in that fight, that last it was a great fight. It was a great sequence. Now, it wasn't a Nick Gilliard, stunt choreographer, kind of a fight, but it was still a good fight in the discussions, the didactic nature behind, back and forth between the two. And then that whole final sequence with the helmet, and he was like, you didn't kill Anakin, I did, kind of a thing, when that whole thing. And I was like, then my friend is truly dead. And so that was a great moment for me personally, to tie up that character of whom I love so much.
Well, and it brings together the line from Star Wars: A New Hope, or from Empire Strikes Back, when he says or was it Empire Return? But he says he's more machine than man, twisted evil.
Yeah. So I just thought it was it was just a wonderful. I enjoyed that part of the thing. There, some of it was okay and all. Real quick, let's give a shout out. Nobody for anybody. Hey all.
Yeah.
Glad you're here with us, man.
Hoping I get my latest Rippaverse soon. I'm hoping. Still waiting on it, but all right. Oh, and real quick, I did want to say I wanted to give some love to our upcoming guest, John Jackson Miller. This Obi-Wan Kenobi picture is actually from his novel, John Jackson Miller's novel, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is a great book, by the way. Highly recommend that. Oh shoot. While Stephen was talking.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's your turn. That's right. Go ahead.
Oh, well, technically I did you probably should go next because Obi-Wan was my number one. And so,
all right.
So I got a chance to talk about my number one and
let me pull mine from the scene real quick so I can.
All right.
So I can search for.
We'll give you just a moment, everybody. We'll sing the Jeopardy theme while he's doing that. Da, na, 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 na. Na 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 da 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 da. You didn't have to just share your screen. Well, now you can add it.
Okay. One of these days, I'm going to get this thing figured out. All right. Anyway, all right. So the next one on my list is Luke Skywalker.
Nice.
So I've always enjoyed Luke Skywalker, and again, going back to Empire Strikes Back, I love the battle within Luke in Empire, him struggling with finding out who his father is and everything, and us just getting that moment, which is to me cinematic history when Darth Vader reveals that he is truly Luke's father. And I've always loved that moment. And then you skip to Return of the Jedi. And I still remember as a kid seeing Return of the Jedi in the theaters and seeing him walk into Jabba's palace. And he does kind of a Sith move. He chokes the two Gamorrean guards. Of course, we don't know if he just chokes them till they pass out or if he chokes them till they're dead. I like to think that he just choked them till they passed out. But a lot of people look at that. That's a Sith move that he did. Well, he's making a statement as he walks in. And that statement is, I am a Jedi. And I am a force to be reckoned with.
I don't know. That's kind of like Batman and Batman, when he blows up all those people. So just saying.
Well, his dad is Darth Vader, so give it up. Anyway, I love that. And then we flash forward to the moment in The Mandalorian when Luke Skywalker walks in.
Yes.
Crushing all of those, I don't even remember what those troopers were called now. The Death Troopers or whatever they were. Actually, they're not the Death Troopers. I don't know. There's something like that. Anyway, Dark Troopers. That's it. When he's just crushing those Dark Troopers. I mean, It is such a Darth Vader move. And I'm like, I'm just like, this is the Luke Skywalker I wanted in the sequels. This is him. This is the one I want.
Yeah.
And being so freaking excited that the Master Jedi, not just Jedi Luke, but the Master Jedi had finally arrived. And
yes,
I felt whole at that moment. It's like, yeah, this is the Luke I've waited for. And so I always think Luke has to go on that list.
Yeah. I struggled with this one, to be open with you, where to put Luke.
I thought we might have an overlap with Luke. I wasn't sure.
I will totally concur and totally agree with you that the Luke from The Mandalorian, this scene here that you have popped up, was by far one of my favorite Disney Plus shows moment of all time.
Oh, agreed.
I think, to be open, when I first saw it, I was super excited. I remember throwing my hands up in the air and like, yeah.
I remember us. We watched it, quote unquote, together,
Mm-hmm.
and both of us were just, "Oh my gosh, it's happening! It's Luke Skywalker!"
Right? Gosh, did we
Oh,
geek out?
yes, it was so much fun. It was.
Mhm.
I agree. It was probably the most fun I have ever had in Star Wars television since Star Wars television has started happening. And I don't think I'm not sure they can top that moment. I really
Mhm.
don't think they can. I
Yeah.
don't know if you can bring back the energy that you had with that and the
Yeah.
excitement. That's
It, I think for me, it was the Luke we always wanted. It's what we expected out of the sequel trilogy, but did not get.
no, we got Jake Skywalker throwing a lightsaber over his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So disappointed.
Yeah.
And you know, I will say that's probably, unfortunately, Mark Hamill's finest acting he has ever done in the Force Awakens, or not the Force Awakens. What's the second one called? Gosh,
The Last Jedi.
yeah, Last Jedi. That's probably his finest acting, and it's not
Mhm.
Luke Skywalker. It is not Luke Skywalker.
Mm-mm.
It's just sad, and we should have gotten this Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, we
This
should
is the
have.
one we should have gotten, and we didn't. I wanted to see the very confident and powerful master Luke
Mhm.
Skywalker, not the
Right.
the
See
meek.
Sam's comment.
What'd you say, Megan?
I said, see Sam's comment.
Oh shoot! I didn't have the comments.
Sad, depressed, milk drinking Luke.
Yes, yeah, and it wasn't even blue drinking milk either. It was green or whatever. Yeah. Ugh.
Right.
I probably could have taken it better if it was actually
Indy
blue.
Phantom has joined us. Hey, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Yes,
Chatting with us.
and
He
I
said
totally agree.
definitely not Luke.
Definitely not Luke. So this
Here-
was the Luke Skywalker I wanted.
Here's what Nobody for Anybody said. He said, Luke from the book I love. Disney Luke, I don't like at all. Interesting.
Get it?
Oh.
I get it.
Oh, let me go back. Indy Phantom first put in this. My answer is none of the new Disney characters, LOL. I would say Han and Yoda were my tops. Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Yoda was my number 4. You know, again, I struggled with Luke where to put him in here, and it just didn't make my top 5. Not because I think he's a terrible character or anything. Yes, he had a great arc. He was whiny Luke in the first one. Then he,
But
then
I
he
was
was
gonna go into Tashi station and pick up some power
right.
converters.
And he was still a little whiny in the second one, learning, with Yoda when met Yoda and stuff like that. But I did enjoy him, as I said, in Return. But I will say this moment in The Mandalorian was by far my favorite. Is what I wanted to finally see is really the how did you put it? The Jedi Master Luke.
Yes. I wanted.
Yeah, I
Jedi-
want more of that.
Yep.
I want more Jedi badassery is what I want.
Oh, yes.
Is what we got. That's what I wanted. That's all I've ever wanted from many of this. It was the buildup of I really want to see what they can really, really do. When push comes to shove, what can they really do? And
Yeah,
we got that.
This is the closest we've come to that.
Yeah. Well, and then let me go back to my favorite Obi-Wan one. Is my favorite Obi-Wan was that whole fight sequence with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in the Disney Plus series. I thought that was good as well.
Well, and I loved how this mirrored Darth Vader in Rogue One too. It just mirrored that scene of Darth Vader walking through the hallway, just throwing the rebels up against getting that scene of badass Darth Vader that we never truly got until Rogue One. That was a fantastic scene, so
Yep.
see, Disney got a few things right here and there.
Here and there.
It's been hit and miss, though.
It has been hit and miss.
More
Yes,
misses than hits.
Yeah,
Anyway.
understood. Okay.
So, Steven, your next one.
My next one. I did not. So this is my number 2, everybody. And I
See,
struggled.
we get caught up talking and we forget to look for our images.
That is correct. So, all right, here we go, everybody. Here is Steven's. Here is Steven's favorites. Here we go. Oops, that's not the right button, is it?
Hey, at least you did it this time, not me.
Right.
Oh,
Anakin Skywalker.
I struggled putting that one too. I wanted to, but
Go
ahead.
I am looking forward to one of the things I enjoyed about the Ahsoka series was the reintroduction of Anakin Skywalker. The post-death moving back to the Mortis trilogy style, that reference back to who he truly was become to bring balance back to the Force kind of a thing. And I'm curious how, Ahsoka season 2 may go kind of a thing. So I enjoy the character arc of Anakin Skywalker, the tragedy, and the, how he turned and understanding how he turned. I enjoyed, what Hayden, Christian Haydenson, what's the actor's name? Yeah. I enjoyed his rendition of it. I know a lot of people gave him static for it and all that kind of thing, but you know what? If you watch his growth over the, when you go back, you have, you can go back and watch him. I'm like, no, he grew with the character and some of the believability of what he was doing and what he went through. But the whole aspect of who he was, the angst and what drove him kind of a thing. And then the power. Now, this is not the Darth Vader realm. I'm not doing Darth Vader kind of a thing. I mean, well, maybe I should, because Darth Vader, in my opinion, is the best villain of all time. And so that's why I'm like, well, he's a great villain, but I'm kind of focusing on the end result of him bringing balance to the Force, the yin and yang of the light side, dark side kind of a thing of where he has become. And I'm looking forward to learning more about that. So that anticipation is kind of what drove me to put him to number 1, because
nice.
It is the Skywalker saga. The first, it is Anakin's story at the end of the day.
George says this is not Luke Skywalker's story. It's Anakin's story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. How would he have said that? How would George have said that?
It's not Luke's story. It's Anakin's. Because I think it's fun. I like to have fun.
Right. So for me, that was my number 2 was Anakin. Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. I probably could put him in there, but it's almost like we have Anakin's rise, fall, deeper fall, and then coming back, his death, but then what happens after that, the balance of the Force that he does emanate probably both sides, the good and the light side and the dark side.
It really is the hero's journey, which is what what George Lucas mimicked throughout the Star Wars trilogy was the hero's journey. And so then when you take the entire saga, well, you take the 6 original Lucas films, you have the full hero's journey of Anakin Skywalker, who goes from good to bad and then back to good again. It rounds out. It's a very nice story arc when you take the whole story into context. That's the thing. You have to take the entire story into context and not just take pieces of it, so on and so forth. Now, gotcha. I will agree with you on the fact that some people like to give Christian Haydenson a hard time and say he wasn't a great actor and so on and so forth. And I'll push back on that because I don't think Mark Hamill was the greatest actor either, but I thought he was an incredible Luke Skywalker. And I think the same thing of Anakin and Christian's portrayal of Anakin. And I think it's less of him being a bad actor and George is not an actor's director. George, he's been quoted as, faster, more intense. He's more worried about the action and less worried about the story, and stuff.
Mm,
And I just don't think Anakin quite got the chance to act like he should have, or Christian Haydenson, I should
right.
say. Overall, I think Christian Haydenson did a fine job.
Mhm.
Was there some missteps? Sure, but I think that's more the writing. We love to make fun of the line, sand. I hate sand. It's rough, it's coarse, and it gets everywhere. It's terrible, sure, but are you really going to fault him for that? That's not his fault.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when it came to the parts where Anakin really brought out the anger and stuff, and showing that transition into Darth Vader as it was coming along. I think he did a great job. I like him. I like Anakin a lot. And I loved when he came back for Ahsoka. I was so happy. And guess what? So were a lot of other people. So I
Right.
think Christian Haydenson has
Right.
reveled over the last few years over his part.
Thanks, Indie Phantom. I don't know what's going on in our head, but it's Hayden Christensen.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay. Anyway,
We're old.
yeah. Anyway, Hayden Christensen. Sorry.
Thank you.
But yes, thank you very much. Yes, I should know that. Now I feel stupid. Oh, well. Anyway,
We make mistakes.
yeah, exactly. We're human. But yes, I really, really enjoy that character. So I'm going to go to my number one.
Okay.
and
Drum roll,
Anakin-
please. Number one. Go ahead.
If Anakin is Steven's yin, then my number one is the yang.
Okay.
Oh, see, I did
All right.
it.
Hang on a second. See, no, you just wanted to add string. No, we're doing the. It's okay.
I should have just let you do that.
It's all good. Mike screen share. There you go.
All right. So my number one is the yin to Stephen Zhang, and it would be Darth Vader. In my opinion, we don't have Star Wars without Darth Vader. There is
Agreed.
just no Star Wars without Darth Vader. And I don't think you can have this list without having probably the most infamous bad guy in the entire galaxy, Darth Vader himself.
Yep.
One of my favorite stories as a kid, when I was a kid. So growing up, I had Star Wars posters. I had Kiss posters all over my room and stuff. My great aunt and uncle, Aunt Me and Uncle Don, who lived in Michigan, who went to Florida every winter. Well, one of their winters coming back from Florida to Michigan, they stopped at our house and stayed at our house for a weekend. And I have this big poster of Darth Vader on the back of my door. And my Aunt Me was very, very religious. And she looked at that poster and she pulled my mom aside and she goes, "How dare you let that boy have that poster, that demon? That thing's going to give him nightmares."
That's funny.
Well, sorry, Aunt Me. It was stuff of dreams. I'll give you that, but they weren't nightmares.
That's funny.
So yeah, she looked at him as a demon, which I thought was hilarious because that's kind of Darth Vader. That
Mhm.
kind of epitomizes his character. So I think he did his job.
Yeah.
And like I said, one of my all-time favorite scenes with Darth Vader. Well, of course, my all-time favorite scene is Empire Strikes Back, the reveal of who is the father. I think it's one of the greatest cinematic moments in history.
Mhm.
I cannot downplay how great that moment is. But then we get that moment in Rogue One too, and it was just like, oh wow, yeah, this is the Vader I've always wanted. Now I will ask this question: I don't understand how come A New Hope. So Vader grabs the one rebel officer. He actually grabs him by the throat and picks him up with his hand.
Right.
That is the only time we ever see Vader ever do that. Every time else after that, it's Vader throws somebody, with the Force or chokes them with the Force or something, but never touches them. Why is it that moment? I know why it is, because Lucas hadn't thought of it yet, but it's just something that drives me crazy in Star Wars history. It's like, Lucas, if you could have changed, you were all about making changes to make your film better. Well, you could have changed that moment and actually had him force choke him.
Oh, that's funny. Or pick him up by the Force and choke him at the same time, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Instead of actually using his hand physically, it's just something that bugs me. But
yeah,
we all got to have missteps, right?
Is it missteps or is it just being persnickety?
Persnickety. So I am going to say Darth Vader is my number one. And I do have some honorable mentions, like I said.
Okay.
Because this picking 5 is just so hard to do. So
Right.
in my honorable mention list, I had to put Mara Jade.
Okay.
Mara Jade has been a favorite of mine ever since I read The Heir to the Empire. I love her story arc, how she's begins as the Emperor's hand. Timothy Zahn writes her as if she's actually witnessing what happens between Luke and Vader and the Emperor and everything, and she hates Luke because she looks at him as the destruction of her master, and so on and so forth. And then we have this whole story arc of her and Luke Skywalker falling in love, and again we have her hero's journey throughout the Timothy Zahn series. So love Mara Jade. She's fantastic. Another one, again, coming from Timothy Zahn. To me, Timothy Zahn is just as important as George Lucas, and I would say Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved the blue guy.
Right on.
He's like the well, a lot of people say Sherlock Holmes, but I guess he'd be more Moriarty. Is that how you say
Moriarty? Moriarty. Sherlock Holmes to Moriarty. Yes.
Right. I think he'd be a little more Moriarty than he is Sherlock Holmes, but you get the idea. Grand Admiral Thrawn is amazing. Then, okay, now I have to move to Disney Star Wars, because I got to throw in something for Disney Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going Din Djarin, The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Because, like you said, let's face it, The Mandalorian was the Boba Fett that we never really got.
Yes.
Because let's face it, The Mandalorian, that was supposed to be the Boba Fett movie. That actually was going to be the Boba Fett movie. And then they moved it to a television series, and then they changed the character, so on and so forth, to make it more theirs, so on and so forth. And probably the best thing Star Wars Disney has ever done would be the Mandalorian series. So Mando has to go on there.
Okay.
And not to mention, I have a great big Mando statue over in my corner. So you
sure do. Hang on just a second. Let me do a couple of these folks that are chiming in real quick.
Oh yeah, sure.
Let's do Indie Phantom says only Star Wars series I watched were Obi-Wan Kenobi, most of Boba Fett, and a few episodes of Mandalorian. I have heard Andor and Skeleton Crew are decent. We like Skeleton Crew more than we did Andor. So
agree. Now Andor is well liked throughout fandom, I believe. I just found it slow. It was really hard for me to watch. Now I am looking forward to Andor season 2, because from what I understand, Andor season 2 takes place like a span of 10. I think it's 8 or 10 episodes, and each episode represents a year in Cassian Andor's life. So I have a feeling it's going to move a lot faster.
Much more faster.
Much more faster. Anyway, so I think I am looking forward to Andor 2. I'm hopeful for Andor 2. Let's see, what else did you mention? Boba Fett. Boba Fett was fun, but had missteps, in my opinion. It wasn't quite the Boba Fett I wanted, but there was some stuff that was really enjoyable, some stuff that was really questionable. I hate the mod speeder, so
Yeah.
I enjoyed Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought it was a decent series. Again, a few missteps, but overall enjoyable. I wish they wouldn't have done. Part of me wishes they wouldn't have done the Princess Leia meeting Obi-Wan Kenobi early, on like they did. But then that actress was so good. That kid was so amazing. I mean, it was like she channeled Carrie Fisher. She was so good. So I got to give credit where credit's due. That was amazing. I love that. Let's see, anything else? And yeah, I enjoyed Skeleton Crew. So
here's Charles is with us. Charles Ollinger. Hopefully I mispronounced your name correctly. Sorry. Darth Dread gets my vote. He owns all.
Darth Dread. I don't know who Darth Dread is. You can have
lurking in the shadows of spatial objects. So I don't know.
Okay. I don't know who Darth Dread is. This must be part of a novel somewhere that I've missed. So you'll have to fill me in on that one. Okay, and I have one last honorable mention, and that would be Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano, like we had said before with Steven's list, Ahsoka began as a bratty teenager, bratty preteen that I didn't like very much, and grew into what I would say one of the greatest Star Wars characters of all time. So she goes on the list. And I do have another list here, and this would be a list of collected action figures. So while putting this list together, I decided to count some of my action figures that were on the list. I have at least 23 Luke Skywalker action figures. I have at least 17 Boba Fett action figures. I have 7 Darth Maul action figures, and I have 9 Darth Vader action figures. So that kind of tells you where some of these things line up. So
right on. Excuse me.
And a good portion of those are original Kenner action figures, by the way. Because that is my preferred collectible action figure collectible is the original Kenner line. So that's it. That's our
list.
5, not definitive, but yes, top 5 Star Wars characters.
Right on. Yep.
Star Wars universe. That was tough.
We did it.
That was tough.
We did it. We made it.
Threw this idea out, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this, man. I really don't know if I can do this. So, but Gemini helped me.
Nice.
I'll admit I used a little AI to help me. So,
yeah, that's all right. Right. Oh, Brenda's asking, do we have any characters that we don't like?
Yeah. L3, that stupid droid in Solo. God, I hate that character. Oh my God. That is the most annoying Star Wars character ever created. I hate that character. Horrible. Let's see. You know who else gets on my nerves? And I thought he was going to be great. The stuttering guy in the sequels. Gosh. Oh my gosh. That one was on both sides who was selling ships and stuff to both sides of the war. Oh gosh, I cannot even think of his name. I hated him. And he was in The Last Jedi. gosh, the one that turned on him. Anyway, yeah, I don't like that guy either. He's annoying. I can't hear you, Steven.
Oh, sorry, because I muted because I was coughing. Sorry.
I was like, did you mute yourself?
I did mute myself. Sorry. I blocked The Last Jedi out of my memory, kind of a thing. So just saying.
Oh, you got to remember, because that's exactly what he sounded like too. It was so annoying.
Yeah.
There's a big actor that played him too, and there was all this hype about him, and he was a terrible character. I hated him. And what's her face with the purple hair? I don't like her either. She's also in The Last Jedi.
I gotcha.
Can't stand her either. Horrible. Was it Oldo or I don't know. Yeah.
That's all right. I don't.
What's her face from Jurassic Park? I liked her much better in Jurassic Park. In Star Wars, I wish the dinosaur would have came in and ate her. That would have been better.
That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been much more better.
That would have been much more better. Cheers, everybody. I think I'm out of my my water.
All right, so
all right.
I'm not going to focus anymore on Star Wars characters I don't like. That's enough.
Yeah, don't bring the show down, Brenda. I'm just kidding.
I could probably come up with more, but those are the tops right there.
Right
or
on.
The pits, I should say, not the tops.
All good. All good. Well, cool beans. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us.
You notice I didn't say Jar Jar, though.
Right. I didn't say Jar Jar.
That's because I don't hate Jar
I
Jar.
was going to say, you don't.
I don't hate Jar Jar.
I did like the theory that Jar Jar was really a Sith master kind of a thing. I thought that was kind of
tired
funny.
of that. I got tired of that. That got to be so old. It's like, oh, shut up.
Right.
Well,
anyway. You guys heard Steven was told to shut up. So that's it. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. Hey, everybody, we're so glad that you.
I wasn't telling you to shut up. I was saying to people who.
I know.
Yeah. I wasn't telling you to shut up. Now over the Batman thing, yeah, shut up, Steven. Batman kills people. Oh, shut up.
Right. That's funny.
I've been hearing
All
that
right.
since 1989, though.
Oh, my goodness. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed the show, please check out our website at www.geeksmike.com. That's our hub, kind of tell you kind of what's upcoming and what do we have on the radar of what we're going to be covering. Next week, we are covering Love Hurts, the movie Love Hurts. So short rounds all grown up and evidently
a martial arts master now.
Right. An assassin turned simple real estate guy or something like that. But anyway, we're going to talk about that next week. If you want to reach out to us, the best way to do that is at our email at show@twogeeksmike.com. Mike pays attention to that pretty well. And kind of if you have any comments or ideas for us on shows that you'd like us to cover. And then the other one is Two Geeks Mike merch. You can get everything to our website, but if you want to go directly to our merch page and just check out a couple of our t-shirts and stuff like that, that's twogeeksmikemerch.com. Also, if you want to help support us, we signed up for a whole nother year just this last week for Ko-fi. We enjoy Ko-fi. And so if you just want to buy us a coffee on Ko-fi, you can do so. Or we've got subscription tiers, just a $1, $2, or $3 tier, just to help support us. All it does is just goes to help pay for all the different things for the podcasting service, to do live streaming service, those kinds of things. And so just to be able to, so any support that you want to give to us, just to say, hey, great show. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. And then also, we also are affiliates with Glitch. And I don't have my Glitch cup here with us, but if you like energy drinks and you want to try a new one, go to glitch.com, GLYTCH, and they have some great drinks. I think our favorites is Smurf juice.
Yes.
Of them.
Smurfs are delicious.
Smurfs are delicious. Gargamel knew what he was talking about.
Yes,
So
Gargamel
just
was right.
So, but you can use our code 2Geeks to get some money off. Sometimes they do some other deals that are better than that, but if they don't have any deals going, just use our code to help you get some some more money off. So,
Well, we're told that the deals are stackable too, so you might be able to use ours and on top of it too. So give that a shot. Maybe save you a little bit more.
I may just try to do that myself and all. So, all right. Well, with that, anything else, Mike?
One last thing, I did pull out the my Darth Vader corksicle that you
Nice.
It's got the red stripe on it. I thought that was appropriate, especially considering my number one was Darth Vader. So,
Right on.
So yeah, Steven, I still use my
Your
wonderful
corksicle.
and I'm drinking some delicious coffee out of it, and it kept it quite warm through the show. So, all right. So with that said,
Right on.
please make sure and go and like and subscribe to us on all the socials such as Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Rumble. Please make sure and give us a thumbs up and 5-star review if you can anywhere. We'd really appreciate it. These things don't cost you anything, and supposedly they help to increase the algorithm for all of these socials. So gets our faces out there, and share our videos and stuff like that too. Share them with a friend who might enjoy this type of podcast or YouTube show. So, and I try to post funny memes and information about the show on Facebook. Information such as when we go live. Speaking of going live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. I don't like math, so you do the rest. And with that said, anything else, Steven?
Nope, we're good.
All right. Over and out. May the force be with you. Do not, Steven, skip this episode because we are much more better than the rest. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
May the force be with you.